So we've all heard the term master plan community, but what makes a community elite? And which ones are worth it in Austin in 2025? For me, it comes down to a few key factors. The amenities that actually improve your lifestyle, the quality and variety of homes. So you have to have that sense of community. The location plays a huge role, and of course, long-term value. And I can tell you, choosing the wrong one in Austin can be costly. Now, some Austin master plan communities check all of those boxes, but others, not so much. In this video, I'm ranking the top master plan communities in the Austin area. And when you see that some award-winning communities, nationally recognized communities, don't make my elite tier, well, you know this list is gonna be good. All right, so we're kicking off with our third tier, which is the worth a look / not for everyone category. And the first one on our list is Steiner Ranch. Now, this might be one that a lot of people don't think of right off the bat when they hear master plan community in the Austin area, but it's one of the most popular and has been for years. It's northwest of Austin out toward Lake Travis. It's probably about a 25 to 40 minute drive depending on what your commute looks like, which way you're working to get there, which is one of the reasons it ended in our third tier. Now here's the pain point for people living in Steiner Ranch. It's for the most part one way in, one way out. So if you live pretty deep in the neighborhood, to the south of you is Lake Travis. So you gotta head up north to get out of the neighborhood, and at busy times when traffic is heavy, this could be a huge pain. Now from a real estate perspective, you're looking at pretty much all resale homes in the community. Last year, the median sold price was around $820,000. So definitely pretty high above that city of Austin and Austin area average price point. Entry level, you're looking around the 500,000s, and you can go up over several $1,000,000 in the neighborhood, especially if you're down on a lake. So if you want that mature, established feel, this could be a winner for you. Most of the homes are built in the last 25 years or so, some built a little bit beyond that. But again, you're not getting a new feeling in the community, but a lot of people like that and make that the reason why they land in Steiner Ranch. Now, if you're moving to Steiner Ranch with kids, the schools are a big draw here. It feeds into Leander ISD, and most of the schools, the elementary schools, there's 3 in the neighborhood, have really strong ratings, and even middle school and high school, it feeds into Vandergrift High School. So you're looking at highly rated schools throughout. Again, another big draw. From an amenity standpoint, you've got pretty much the run-of-the-mill master plan community amenities: pool, tennis courts, Lake Travis access. That's one draw being out in Steiner Ranch, is being close to the lake. Lots of hike and bike trails, but nothing compared to some of the communities we're gonna see later in the video. So if you want kind of an iconic Austin area community, but with older homes, higher price point, more established feel, Steiner Ranch might be for you. All right, moving on. You might give me a hard time for this one, but the next neighborhood in our third tier is going to be Treviso. Now, Treviso is a nationally recognized community up in Leander, and I'll share with you why it landed in our third tier instead of higher in the list. So you're looking at about a 35 to 45 minute commute outside of Austin. You get off at the Whitestone / 1431 exit. And here's one of the great things about Treviso that I love. You get off the highway, and as you're driving down west on 1431, you kind of like come over a hill and you see just this gigantic neighborhood, 1 million homes in the hills. There's beautiful terrain. It's really a pretty drive up to the neighborhood. And then of course, when you're in the neighborhood, it even gets better. Now here is one of the drawbacks from Treviso. Over the last year, the median sales price was $890,000. So a very tough neighborhood to get into. Now you can find options in the 600 range, all the way pretty much up to 2 million or a little bit above that. Lots of options in that pocket, but you're definitely paying a premium. It has become one of the Austin suburbs, higher end neighborhoods that you're gonna find out there. Now you're pretty much getting new builds or recently built. Most of the homes were built within the last 10 years there. A lot of luxury design, luxury lifestyle is kind of the vibe you get when you're driving through Treviso. Now, similar to Steiner Ranch, Treviso is zoned to Leander ISD schools. And here's one of the tough parts. A lot of the neighborhoods that we'll talk about today have schools within the neighborhood. Well, Treviso, the school is outside of the neighborhood. They go from an elementary school standpoint, it feeds to Mason Elementary, which is not that highly rated. So while you saw the Steiner Ranch schools really high up there, Treviso not so much, and one of those drawbacks which kept it at our 3rd tier. Now things do improve as you move up. Leander High School is rated a 7 out of 10, but again, most people aren't moving to this neighborhood specifically for schools. There's definitely other options out there, many of which we'll cover in this video. Now here's where it really blows people away from an amenities standpoint. It's got a beautiful Tuscan style, resort style amenity center. Now you're gonna hear this term a lot today. It's got a resort style pool, fitness center. There's trails throughout the neighborhood. Again, I told you the terrain as you move out west in Austin in general, this is where you get kind of the hill country vibe. So it blends kind of the suburb feel with the hill country vibe out west, up in the northwest part of Leander, and it really makes for a beautiful neighborhood. So it's a gorgeous neighborhood, beautiful views, hill country terrain. The homes are amazing, but for some of those reasons that I shared with you, it ended in our 3rd tier. Now, depending where you are in your search to Austin, maybe you're in the very beginning or you're getting close to pulling the trigger, we created a relocation guide for people just like you. I'll put a QR code right up here on the screen. Scan it, it's totally free, and we'll give you a roadmap of Austin, what to expect here, different areas, and we'll help you. We say become an expert in the city before you actually make the move. So definitely check that out. And let's move on to our 2nd tier. These are our strong picks, the ones that are popular with relocators. So the first one in this tier is called Sunfield. Now Sunfield is a neighborhood in Buda. It's about 25 to 30-ish minutes south of downtown Austin, but it's a straight shot down I-35. This can be a very high traffic area. If you've seen any of my videos, I usually badmouth I-35, and for good reason. No one really likes it, but that could be one of the drawbacks of this neighborhood is the commute, getting out there on I-35 if you're coming from Austin or if you commute into Austin. Now here's one of the great parts about the neighborhood and why it got bumped up a tier. The median sold price in the last year, $380,000. So from an accessibility standpoint, lots of accessible homes at accessible price points, and most are new construction or pretty new. As a matter of fact, you can find a ton of options for beautiful homes in the, say, mid 300s to $600,000 price range. There's still builders building in the community right now. They have incentives galore. We've helped a lot of our clients land in that neighborhood and get not only great deals, but great incentives. And for some of the reasons I'm about to share, this is why they flock to this neighborhood. Now it is zoned to the Hayes School District. Again, schools are not the huge draw here, which you could argue should bump it down into a lower tier. However, the amenities, I mean, this is the first one, especially when you compare it to the last couple neighborhoods. Not one, 2 lazy rivers in the community. They just recently opened the 2nd Lazy River Amenity Center. Pools, splash pads, there's a little pond in the neighborhood if you want to fish, for hiking, walking. Moving to Austin, we say hiking a lot. Usually it's walking around nature. That's what we call hiking. Definitely not a ton of like strenuous hiking, especially when you get to a neighborhood like Sunfield that's relatively flat. And I really like to look at this neighborhood as you get a big lifestyle for a great price, which is why it landed on our 2nd tier. The commute, the school district, right now are some of the trade-offs, but still a great option if you're looking for a neighborhood in a growing suburb of Austin. Okay, next up on our list is Circle C, which is located in South Austin. Now, I recently did a full map tour of the video. If this is a neighborhood that speaks to you, definitely check that video out because I break it down each section. It's extremely in-depth, very different than this style of video. So Circle C Ranch, so depending on where you live in the neighborhood, you're pretty much less than a 20-minute drive to downtown Austin. And I even in my video showed an example of getting downtown in less than 10 minutes from one of the sections. So very, very accessible, not only to downtown Austin, but to the airport, to the hill country. One reason why people see this as a highly desirable neighborhood. Over the last year, the median sold price is $775,000. So again, when you look at maybe comparing it to Treviso or Steiner Ranch, it's an established community, so convenient to downtown if that's important to you, and a little bit more accessible of a price point. Now, you can find homes in the $550 up to $1.5 million range. That's a pretty good, if you're looking in that pocket, you should definitely consider this neighborhood. There are maybe a couple homes that trickle in a little bit lower than that, and some that come in higher as well. From a home style standpoint, you're pretty much going to get homes built in the late 80s through the early 2000s, and then some sections were built over the last 5 to 10 years, so you can get newer options. You're usually just paying a premium for those. I told you schools are an important part of this rating category, and all of the schools are, for the most part, pretty exceptional in Circle C Ranch. 3 elementary schools all rated 9 out of 10. The middle school in the neighborhood is rated 9 out of 10. The high school is rated 8 out of 10. So big draw for people that are moving there with kids or expecting kids, knowing that they can go to good schools. Now, the amenity centers as a whole might not be as flashy as some of the communities that we're gonna hit in our top tier that are coming up later in the video, but they've got tons of amenities, 4 different swimming pools, community centers, lots of events go on in the Circle C neighborhood, very family centric and community driven. Gray Rock Golf Course, golf and tennis is in the community. I believe there's around 8 tennis courts there. It's a semi-private golf course. There are golf course homes. There's sections where you can buy on the course if that's something that interests you. So lots of options, and pretty much throughout the neighborhood, you're going to get that mature, established neighborhood feel if that's what you're looking for. So if you want that classic Austin neighborhood, established feel, family friendly, and great proximity to downtown and other places in Austin, then Circle C might be for you, and the reason why it landed in our second tier. Now, I do want to point out something exciting. If you don't want resale, if you strictly want new construction, we have access to a tool. I will put the link in the description, and it gives you access. You pick the community to any new construction home available, not only in Austin, but in the greater Austin area. And it's not only going to give you pricing information, but it's fed directly from the builder sites, and it gives you up-to-date info on their incentives, the promotions that they're running. So if you want probably the best insight into the new construction market, definitely check that out. Again, the link is going to be in the description, and it will be super helpful for some of the neighborhoods we've got coming up as we move up the tiers, but we still have one more in our second tier, so let's get to it. And that is none other than Wolf Ranch. Now, we couldn't do a list like this of top master plan communities without having somewhere in Georgetown on the list. Georgetown is known as one of the best suburbs in Austin. As a matter of fact, it's been ranked in the top suburbs in all of America, best cities to live in the US. So highly acclaimed, lots of recognition lately from Georgetown, and one reason why we're seeing so many people flock there. Here's the thing with Georgetown, and specifically Wolf Ranch, you're about 40 minutes north of downtown Austin. Again, I-35 is the best way to get there, the highway that I like to avoid at all costs. But if being convenient to downtown Austin isn't important, you just want a neighborhood with next level amenities and in a rapidly growing area, then you're going to want to definitely consider Wolf Ranch. So over the last year, we've seen a median sold price of around $610,000. But here's the exciting part. There are homes starting in the 400s, and I would say 400 to 800, you can get a great option. And there's a couple important things to know about the layout of this specific neighborhood. Now, you've got the hilltop section. This is going to be north of 29, and now there are still some great options for new construction, and like some of the communities I talked about already, lots of builder incentives to get you in those communities, low interest rates. Here's one of the tough parts. It is in a MUD, a municipal utility district, which bumps the tax rate up to about 2.4%. Now, I never like to give exact numbers for tax rates because they can change every year, and if this is something new to you moving to Texas, understand tax rates can be a little wonky and can be a little tough to understand. It's not too difficult, but 2.4% tax rate there. But again, those builder incentives, some of the lower interest rates could offset this and make your monthly payment more affordable than other neighborhoods. Now, you're going to find pretty much all new construction or recently built homes if you're looking for that as well. Now, one thing that probably kept this from our top tier was that it is zoned to Georgetown ISD. Schools in this district overall are not known to be that highly rated. Again, there are good schools in every district. It really depends on which pocket you're in, but overall, from a rating standpoint, you're not looking at top tier schools in Wolf Ranch. Now, this is probably the reason why it landed in our second tier, very close to the top, the amenities. So there's a couple sections of the neighborhood you need to be aware about. The hilltop section is north of 29, and this is where you'll find the Den Amenity Center. I'm talking resort-style pool, an event hall, covered patio with grills, playgrounds. Like, the kids can absolutely go wild at this amenity center, but it doesn't even come close to the newer amenity center, which is on the South Fork section, south of 29 of the Wolf Ranch neighborhood. Now, this is where you have the River Camp amenity center. Also, resort style pools, fitness center, sport courts, event patio, event lawn, so many events, yoga classes, community-centric get-togethers at this amenity center and in the neighborhood as a whole, because this is a huge focus of Wolf Ranch and a reason why so many people don't even care about being super close to Austin, very convenient, because they feel like they're in their own little city and have their own built-in community within the neighborhood up in Georgetown. So I would say the commute, schools, maybe taxes, keep it out of our next category, the top category, our elite category, but still a great option if you want that perfect blend of kind of the suburban calm feel and next level amenities. All right, leveling up a category, our elite category, where everyone wants to be. These neighborhoods check boxes on so many different levels, and they landed in our top tier for good reason. So kicking off with the first one, which is Easton Park. So Easton Park is located about 20 minutes southeast of downtown Austin. Great proximity to the airport, great proximity to McKinney Falls State Park. The drive out there can be a little dicey, and you might argue it should be bumped up to another tier, but for a couple of reasons I'm about to share, this is why it is an elite neighborhood. Median sold price over the last year, $545,000. But here's a great thing. You can still get a single family home in the 400s up to around the 700 price point. There, again, might be a couple options here and there below that price point and above the 700s. But in that pocket, if that's where you're searching, there are some great homes. Now, it isn't a MUD, that municipal utility district, like I explained a little bit earlier, which bumps the tax rate up. But this is another one we've had clients firsthand go to this neighborhood. Builders, I don't want to say they're giving homes away and make them seem too desperate, but they are cutting deals left and right. And that 2.5 tax rate, you're not even going to bat an eye at when you see maybe how far down you can buy your interest rate or the closing costs and price incentives that they're given. Now, they still have several years of building in this community, which is why it landed in my elite category. Some people might look at that as a drawback because they don't want to be competing with new construction when they turn around to sell, and I totally get that. But the more they continue building out there, you're going to see the need and the reasoning for more retail, more commercial development in that area, almost making it its own little city out there. We already saw the first tipping point of that. There's been some retail that's open there, but H-E-B announced that they're going to be opening a store in that, pretty much in the neighborhood, right off McKinney Falls Parkway and William Cannon, which should open in 2027, a huge need for the neighborhood. Now, here's one tough part. It's Del Valley schools. And while the elementary school, Newton Collins, is a highly rated school, it's a Spanish immersion school, so some great perks for that school. The middle school and high school right now are not really meeting the bar when it comes to school ratings that people are looking for. So some people look at this neighborhood as, I'm going to send my kids there through elementary school and then maybe make a move. Or a lot of them are looking at it as, well, as the elementary school continues to improve, those kids are going to go to middle school and high school that are fed into that Easton Park feeds into, and those schools should improve as they go. So you can look at it both ways, but I would say if there's any drawbacks, it's the school district. But from an amenity standpoint, you go to the amenity center there, and it's beautiful glass, modern. As a matter of fact, I recently did a video vlogging in the entire neighborhood and gave you a breakdown of some samples of what homes look like and all the different amenities, gave you an inside scoop. So definitely check that out if you want a more in-depth look at Easton Park. But this is one of those communities that at the amenity center, it's got the resort style pool, fitness center. There's a whole lounge where people go there and sit and work. They do events there, conference rooms, very community centric. And we've helped a lot of younger families. Now, there's no age limit on this community, but a lot of our clients that maybe were renting downtown or wanted to buy their first home have landed in this community. And they've told us personally that they've met so many people their age with kids or having kids, and they've really loved living in the community. I don't think we've gotten a bad report from any of our clients who have landed in Easton Park. The community has miles and miles of hiking and walking and biking trails and is very nature centric. And I told you earlier that McKinney Falls State Park is right down the street from it. And it seems like they keep building, they keep coming up with new plans for ways to keep families busy. Skyline Park was a newer addition that it's got a zip line, an insane little like tree house with a big slide. It's got a splash pad, big open field. And again, pretty much any given month, you're gonna find a handful of events that are taking place in the neighborhood. Great way to meet your neighbors. So you might consider this one of the most ambitious modern communities in the Austin area. When you look at the proximity to downtown, to the airport, the amenities, and the future growth potential, that's the reason why I landed in our elite list. All right, now this next one I probably should have saved for last. Now these 3 communities in this top tier are not in any particular order, but I feel like I probably should have saved this one for last. They sometimes say, best for last, but I couldn't help but share. This one, this community, you're gonna feel like you're at a full-on resort. And whether it's a resort or a water park, they check the box on everything you're looking for to keep families, keep kids busy. So we're heading up to Liberty Hill to a neighborhood called Santa Rita Ranch. Now, mind you, this neighborhood's about 40 to 45-ish minutes northwest of downtown Austin. So I would definitely not say that people that are prioritizing proximity to Austin are the ones landing in this neighborhood, but for all the reasons I'm about to share, people love this spot. So over the last year, median sold price, $550,000. And to be honest with you, you can find several options in that $300 to $600 price range. Now, homes do go up over $1 million in the neighborhood. And one cool part is that if you're above 55, the Regency at Santa Rita Ranch is a 55 plus. They call it an active lifestyle community because we're not looking to slow your life down. We're looking to get it more active, meet other people, get you friendly with your neighbors, out doing things. They have social events all the time. We have clients that have landed in that section, absolutely love the vibe there and just the overall community feel. So really something for everyone in Santa Rita Ranch. So whether you're looking for that starter home, 1,800 square feet, or you want something 3,000 plus square feet, there's really options for everyone in this neighborhood and tons of new construction to choose from as well if you want to buy brand new. Now here's one thing to keep in mind with this neighborhood is that it's split between Liberty Hill School District and Georgetown School District, one rated much higher than the other. So overall, Liberty Hill is looked at as a more desirable school district over Georgetown. So be very careful if you're moving into the community so you know where your section is zoned to. Definitely a great question to ask and something that we talk about with our clients that are making the move to the neighborhood. But here is where I feel like it makes this community elite is the amenities. So the Ranch House is the name of the amenity center. You're looking at resort style pools, 2 slides that make you feel like you are in a water park or a high-end resort, splash pads for the kids, kiddie pools for the little ones, cabanas, lounge areas, literally the list goes on. When you look at the amenities at Santa Rita Ranch, I feel like they rival with any of the communities we've already mentioned, which again is why it landed in our elite tier. So if you're looking for something that has been consistently ranked as one of the top master plan communities in the entire country, and you're okay with being a little bit removed from downtown Austin, still great access maybe to the Domain and all that they're building up in the Liberty Hill and Georgetown area, well, Santa Rita Ranch might be your go-to. All right, next on our list in our elite tier of master plan communities is one that is in the gateway to the hill country, so they call it the booming Dripping Springs. I'm talking about Headwaters. Now, the commute to Headwaters, again, I mentioned it's in Dripping Springs. You're about 30 minutes southwest of downtown Austin. It's a straight shot on 290. They're doing a lot of construction over there at the Y at Oak Hill that once that's done, it'll make the commute out here much better. And you look at the growth over the last several years of Dripping Springs and the growth that it's going to continue to see, which to me is one of the reasons that makes this community so desirable and in our elite category. One tough part, but you're getting beautiful houses for this. The median sold price over the last year around $670,000. Now, if you're looking in the 600s to 900s, you can find something beautiful. They can go a little over $1 million there, but I feel like you don't have to spend that. You can definitely be in that pocket and get an amazing home. A lot of the homes in here are that modern farmhouse style. As you drive through the neighborhood, you get that vibe and it just gives it a clean look. Again, very hilly terrain in the neighborhood, which is one of the reasons people love it. Depending on where you are, where you land in the neighborhood, you might have beautiful hill country views. Another great thing is that none of the homes back directly to another neighbor. There's green space behind every single home, which is a huge draw if you're looking to, get more of that hill country vibe and not be right on top of your neighbors. Schools. Zone 2 Dripping Springs School District, they just in 2025 opened an elementary school in the neighborhood, which is huge because just from a convenience standpoint, gave people an option right there at home in their neighborhood, in their backyard, that they could take their kids to school. So Wildwood Springs Elementary opened. That was a huge announcement. Overall, the Dripping Springs ISD middle school and high schools are also highly rated, which again make this neighborhood a huge draw. I told you about all of the homes back into green space. There are thousands of acres of green space within the neighborhood, and there's tons of walking trails, hiking trails, biking trails throughout the neighborhood as well. Again, depending on where you are in the neighborhood, if you have kids, if you're pushing the stroller, it can be a very hilly. So if you don't want a hilly terrain, this might not be the neighborhood for you. Now, the amenity center as you pull into the neighborhood is absolutely beautiful. Resort style pool, top of the line amenities. There's a fitness center. There's a little cafe, all overlooking the hill country. There's playgrounds all throughout the neighborhood as well. And like I mentioned in a lot of the other neighborhoods, and this is the theme with master plan communities, they do so many events to get you familiar, to get you friendly and meeting your neighbors. So this is one of those communities, food truck nights, events on 4th of July, all throughout the year. You can find ways to get together with the community and meet your neighbor, or just go to the pool on a random weekend in the summer, and you're likely to meet some nice people there as well. So to me, Headwaters gives that perfect blend of nature, hill country vibes, a neighborhood with really good schools, very community centric in a booming suburb of Austin, which is why I landed in our elite tier. So there you have it, our 2025 rankings of the top master plan communities in the Austin area. Now you might be watching this thinking like, my brain's about to explode, so many different options, and the right option for you honestly depends on your budget, your lifestyle choice, the area of town that you want to live in. And this is something that we help our clients, we help walk you through, ask you the right questions to help guide you to the neighborhood that you're not only going to like living in, you're going to love it, and maybe recruit your friends to build that community even further. So if you're relocating here, reach out to our team. All of our contact info is below. We help people like you every week that watch our videos and reach out for more help, a deeper dive into their move in Austin. We hope this video is helpful. We'll catch you on the next one.